They say sound dies faster in the cold. That's a lie. In Chester Vale, Colorado, sound never dies, it just sinks. You can hear it, late at night, humming under the floorboards like the earth's remembering something it shouldn't. I didn't want the job. It came through a sheriff's office line that still used dial tone and static. The woman on the other end said her name was Dana Morrell, county sheriff. Calm, clipped, professional. She'd heard I did freelance audio work, clean up forensics. That phrase always means one thing. Somebody died and they want the noise to tell them how. There's a recording, she said. Rescue team inside the Northline tunnel. Collapsed 2 nights ago. One casualty, my brother. She paused like it was still negotiable. Can you make me hear what he said before it fell? I told her to send the file. When I got it, the timestamp stopped at 3:14 and 27 seconds AM format. WAV. Duration, 23 seconds. I put on my headphones and pressed play. The first 6 seconds were silence, no, not silence. The kind that hums like metal thinking about heat. Then a voice. This is Unit 3. We found a crack, a grunt, rock dust raining through the mic. Then breathing fast, shallow. And after the 10th second, another sound crept in, low, rhythmic, not human, like the earth itself drawing breath. Then a whisper, faint but clean. Not yet. Male voice. Not the rescuers. At second 23, everything went white, a burst of static so sharp it burned through the waveform. Then nothing. I pulled off the headphones and stared at the timeline. The file was untouched. No edits, no cuts, no dropouts. But the whisper had spatial depth. You could tell when a sound belongs in the room and when it doesn't. This one wasn't in the tunnel. It was behind the mic, speaking through the air itself. Outside, the mountains swallowed the last daylight. Chester Vale was the kind of town where noise felt like confession, old trucks on gravel, dogs that barked to prove existence, neon buzzing over empty diners. But lately, locals said, there'd been a new kind of noise. They called it the hum, a low drone that rolled under the valley at night, steady as a heartbeat. I drove into town the next morning. The road cut through miles of frostbitten apple orchards gone gray for winter. The radio flickered between gospel and dead air until I killed it myself. My own tinnitus filled the gap, a thin, high whistle that came and went since the bureau days. That whistle had saved me once. Now it just reminded me I'd heard too much. The sheriff's office looked like an abandoned schoolhouse with authority issues. Dana Morrell met me in the hallway. Mid-40s, steady posture, voice that could stop a bar fight without rising an octave. Her eyes were bloodshot but focused. You could tell grief hadn't slowed her. It had just given her an assignment. She led me into a briefing room where a laptop waited beside a thermos of burnt coffee. My brother, Cal. He was the one on the line, she said. You'll hear the last transmission. We pulled it from his body cam mic. No visual lens was cracked. She hesitated. There's something else. When we played it here, everyone heard something different. Words changed. Tempo shifted. One guy swore he heard a child. Another said it sounded like someone praying backwards. Audio hallucinations normal under trauma, I said automatically. She gave me a look. Then explain why the waveform isn't the same on 2 machines. That got my attention. She pushed a USB toward me. I want to know what it really says. I took it. You sure you want to? She nodded. The mountain took my brother. I just want to know if it talked back. That night in my trailer outside town, I set up the equipment, monitors, reference speakers, spectral analyzer. The air was still. Even the tinnitus felt polite. When I played the raw file again, I listened beyond the voice. Behind the rumble, behind the collapse, something pulsed in the subfrequencies, a rhythm, almost biological. 41 hertz. That's the frequency of a human heart under sedation. I isolated it. The hum got louder. Then I heard words that weren't there before. Not English. Not quite language, syllables wrapped in breath, cycling every 4 seconds like lungs sinking with static. And at 3:14 and 22 seconds, half a second before the burst, the same whisper again, only clearer this time. "You still owe me a name." I froze the spectrum. The voice peak wasn't from any mic input, it originated inside the noise floor itself. Meaning, it didn't record sound, it recorded memory. I should have stopped. Instead, I cleaned the signal, boosted the low end, filtered the hiss. The hum shifted key D minor, the color of regret. And for the first time since I left the bureau, I felt like the tape was listening back. Then my lights flickered. The monitors hissed. And from somewhere beneath the trailer, through soil, metal, and frost, I heard the same voice whisper, "Not yet." By morning, the hum was louder. Not from the mountains, from under my floor. Cups rattled, the screen flickered, air vibrated like it remembered fear. Then Sheriff Morrell called. "We're reopening the Northline Tunnel," she said. "You wanted context. Come hear it." I hadn't been underground since the bureau case that almost buried me too. But her voice left no room for no. The tunnel mouth yawned black between cliffs. Wind moved through it like breath through a throat, steady, alive. Same sound as the tape. Dana's flashlight cut through fog. "Tell me you hear that." "I do," she nodded. "Good, thought I was losing it." Inside, air was colder, thicker. The echo came late, as if the walls thought before answering. My recorder blinked, though I hadn't turned it on. Infrasound, near 30 Hz, too low for human ears, but enough to make your body remember panic. "This is where we found him," Dana said. "My brother, still transmitting." I crouched near a half-buried camera rig. The cracked display flickered once, not video, but a waveform. Identical to the file she'd sent me, except 6 seconds longer. Someone had cut the copy. "You edited this before sending it?" I asked. She frowned. "No, that's the only one." "Then there's another. Backup feed," she said. "Stored at the old station, power's unstable, but..." "Then we go." The ground trembled. A deep, pulsing thud, not rockfall, heartbeat. Then silence. And a voice inside my ear, my own voice. "You cleaned this before." The station was a mausoleum of blinking lights. "We found the backup file. CALWARD2 mic, 47 seconds. I played it. Same collapse, same whisper. Then a new sound, scraping, gasping, a woman's voice. "You shouldn't have come back here." Dana's knuckles whitened. "That's not me." I believed her. Because the pitch matched no known vocal range, it wasn't recorded through air. It lived inside the noise itself. And beneath the distortion, a frequency I knew too well. The same one I'd erased years ago. The one they told me was a glitch. It wasn't a glitch. It was this. That night the hum followed me home. Through the walls, through the bones, through my own pulse. I covered my ears, pointless. The sound lived underneath hearing, and through it the same voice whispered, "Keep listening, Noah. You're almost home." By the next morning, Chester Vale sounded wrong. The hum had stopped, but silence had seemed now tiny gaps, as if sound was missing between words. The world felt dubbed. Even my footsteps came half a beat late. At the sheriff's office, Dana looked worse. "Half my team's acting like last week never happened," she said. "They think Cal's still alive. One of them even called him this morning." I blinked. "What did he say?" "They said he answered." We sat in her office, blinds half closed, the hum of the ceiling lights steady and too clean. I played the backup file again on my laptop. The waveform wasn't the same as yesterday. The extra 6 seconds were gone, erased. I checked the timestamp, new date, same file name. No edits, no traces, as if the world itself had rolled back a save. I boosted the low end, ran a spectral analysis. Beneath the static, faint but deliberate, 3 tones pulsed at perfect intervals, 19, 41, and 83 hertz. Frequencies that shouldn't coexist. Together, they formed a harmonic pattern, the same one that drives subliminal recall therapy. Meaning the tape could write over memory, Dana leaned forward. "You're saying the sound is changing what people remember." "Not people," I said. "Recordings, then people follow." She shook her head. "So my team forgot a collapse because a file decided to rewrite itself." "That's the theory." "Theory sucks," she muttered. "Cal's still dead. Unless the sound disagrees." I didn't have time to answer because her desk phone rang, landline, no caller ID. She picked it up, her face went pale. "Cal," she whispered. She listened a full 5 seconds, then slammed the phone down and backed away. "It was his voice," she said. "He said my name, then he asked if we were alone." I checked the line. No connection, no static. Just that frequency hum, faint, buried under silence. We tore through town after that, City Hall, the station, even the diner. Everywhere we went, recordings were off. The security cameras skipped hours. Radios looped the same song fragment. A traffic cam replayed a car crash that never happened. Every screen glitched at 3:14 and 27 seconds, the timestamp from the first tape. Something or someone was syncing the world to that second. At dusk, I returned to my trailer. The air inside was heavier than gravity. My hard drives were all powered on, every one of them. Files opened on their own. Each window showed the same waveform, pulsing like a heartbeat. In the middle of the screen, new text typed itself line by line. "Do you hear me now? You took my name, give it back." I reached for the power strip, but the speakers flared alive. The same 3 frequencies, then a new layer, Cal's voice. "This isn't the tunnel," it said. "It's the other side of the recording." Static burst and my lights went black. When power returned, the laptop was still open. Only one file remained. Noah, one mic. I played it once. My own voice answered. "I told you, sound doesn't die, it just finds another host." Outside, the night hummed again, low, steady, and familiar. The kind of sound that means the story isn't done. By dawn, Lowe's Angels looked like a crime scene no one had the heart to clean up. The sky was gray and damp, smeared like it had been erased and redrawn too many times. I hadn't slept, didn't even try. My head was full of ghosts that spoke in static, Evelyn's laugh, the distorted footage, my own voice echoing back through the wires like a bad confession. My office still smelled of cheap whiskey and rain. The blinds were half closed, slicing the weak morning light into strips across the desk. My coffee had gone cold hours ago, untouched, as I stared at the same paused video frame, Evelyn Ward smiling, mid-laugh, frozen forever inside a digital second. I didn't remember the conversation. I didn't remember that smile. But there I was, sitting opposite her in the footage, wearing the same shirt I was wearing now. I wanted to believe it was fake. Deep fake, AI reconstruction, digital forgery, hell, pick a word. But the reflection on her wine glass matched the exact pattern of light in my office. Every imperfection, every scratch on my desk. The camera wasn't lying. It was me who didn't fit. I needed answers, and the only place that ever pretended to have them was Sterling Insurance, the company that had hired me to verify Evelyn's death. I drove downtown through a city that looked like it was still booting up from a dream. No traffic, no horns, just long stretches of silence between stoplights. The whole drive, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching me from the rearview mirror. Not someone, something. The shape of my own reflection felt lagged, a half beat behind. The lobby guard at Sterling didn't even look up when I walked in. His eyes were glassy, distant, like he'd already seen this moment play out before. "Pierce," I said, "I'm here for my case file." He pointed to the counter. A sealed envelope was waiting, already labeled with my name. I hadn't told anyone I was coming. I tore it open. Inside were photographs, Evelyn in different places, different days. Cafes, streets, her apartment, all candid. But in every one of them I was there too, sitting across from her, smiling, talking. Sometimes in the same clothes I wore today. My stomach turned. I flipped one over, a timestamp, tomorrow's date. Then the sound, slow, deliberate clapping from behind me. I turned. A man in a gray suit stood by the elevator, calm as gravity. He was tall, early 40s, hair cut too neat for this city. No badge, no ID, just that fixed half-smile that people wear when they already know how the scene ends. "Good morning, Mr. Pierce," he said softly. "You're ahead of schedule." My throat tightened. "I don't remember meeting you." "You weren't supposed to." He started walking toward me, hands clasped behind his back. His shoes made no sound on the marble. "Not yet." He looked around the lobby like it was a film set, like he'd been here too many times before. "Tell me," he said, "how does it feel? Being uncertain of what's real." "What is this?" I asked. "Some kind of setup?" "Setup," he almost laughed. "That's not far off." He leaned closer. "You wanted to feel something real again, didn't you? That's why you agreed to it." "I never agreed to anything." He tilted his head, studying me like a teacher disappointed by a slow student. "Everyone does," he said quietly. "Eventually." The elevator behind him dinged open. White light poured out, sterile and bright, too clean for this world. He gestured toward it with a faint smile. "Come on, Nathan. You're not supposed to improvise yet." That stopped me cold. He said my first name. I hadn't used it once with anyone on this case. I took a step back. "How do you know my name?" His eyes flickered, literally flickered, like a screen refresh. "Because you wrote it." The air in the room changed. Every hum of the lights went silent. Every reflection in the glass froze. "What are you talking about?" I whispered. "This." He spread his arms. "All of this. It's called the empathy loop. You built it years ago. You wanted to study how consciousness responds to grief, trauma, loss. You built the simulation, uploaded yourself into it, and forgot that you did." "Simulation?" I almost laughed. "You're out of your mind." He smiled patiently, as if he'd heard me say that before. "We call it recursive amnesia. Happens every cycle. You reach phase 3, realize you're being watched, panic, run. Then the system reboots. You start again. Sometimes you drown, sometimes you jump, sometimes you just stop." The lights flickered again, faster this time. For one heartbeat, his face glitched, features overlapping, sharp edges like pixels tearing apart. I stumbled back, reaching for my gun, but it wasn't there, just a cheap prop holster. He watched me, unbothered. "They're rebooting the scene early," he murmured. A siren wailed, too crisp, too mechanical. The sprinklers erupted, drenching the lobby. The water didn't fall, it froze midair, suspended droplets reflecting infinite versions of me. I ran for the door, but it wasn't a door anymore. Just a white rectangle of light. "Don't do this again," the man said. His voice came from everywhere. "You were so close this time." I pushed through the light and stumbled into sunlight. But it wasn't the street, it was a set. Fake buildings, cardboard storefronts. Crew members froze in mid-motion, each holding a clipboard or mic. A red camera light blinked in the distance. Someone shouted, "Cut!" The world went still. Every sound vanished, no wind, no birds, no traffic. Just the hum of electricity overhead. I turned slowly. The man in the gray suit was walking toward me again, completely dry, completely calm. "You weren't supposed to see this yet," he said. Behind him, the camera turned, its lens following me like an eye that never blinks. And on the slate board clutched by a trembling assistant, I saw the writing. Project, the empathy loop, scene 47. Take 7. Subject, N. Pierce. He stopped an arm's length away, voice soft, almost apologetic. "You wrote this story to understand grief, Nathan, to test if emotion survives replication. You died before you finished it. We just kept running the program." I stared at him, words trapped behind disbelief. "This isn't real," I said. "None of it," he smiled. "Then why do you care so much?" I looked down. The water puddling at my feet wasn't reflecting me anymore. It was showing Evelyn, smiling, waiting. I closed my eyes, and for the first time I didn't know which version of me was dreaming. By Friday, every road out of Chester Vale led back in. It wasn't metaphor anymore. GPS spun in loops. Signs repeated. Even the sky seemed to circle the same horizon. Dana and I drove north for 2 hours and rolled past the same diner 3 times. Same flickering neon. Same empty car in the lot. Same receipt pinned under the wiper that read "Exit DENIED." The signal wasn't just sound now. It had grown geography. Dana slammed the brakes. "We're trapped inside a feedback loop." "Or the world's buffering us," I said. She glared. "Don't joke." "I'm not." I checked the radio static, then my own voice. "You can't leave while you're still transmitting." I froze. "That's from last night. I didn't." "It's live," Dana said. "The signal's predicting you. We killed the engine." Silence folded over the road like fog. Even our breathing sounded pre-recorded. When she spoke again, her words echoed a half-beat before she said them. "Do you hear that?" "Yes." "Then it's already inside." We headed back into town. The main street looked rewritten, storefronts missing letters, windows reflecting places that weren't there. On a wall, someone had spray-painted, "Remember your own frequency." At the sheriff's office, the map on the wall showed new roads that didn't exist. A thin red line pulsed through it like a heartbeat. I traced it with my finger. It ended at my address. "Whatever this is," Dana said, "it's using your equipment as a host." "My equipment doesn't generate coordinates." "No, but your recordings do." We opened the latest file from my recorder. The waveform looked normal until I zoomed in. Hidden under the amplitude peaks were words etched into the data points themselves. "Come home, Noah. Follow the hum." I deleted it. 3 seconds later, it reappeared. Dana backed away. "It's writing through you." "I'm just documenting." "No, you're broadcasting." I didn't have time to argue. My phone vibrated. Unknown number. I answered. Static. Then my mother's voice. "Dinner's getting cold." "She's been dead 8 years." "Hang up," Dana said. "I can't." The line filled with breath, slow, rhythmic, mechanical. Then another voice, low and exact. "You can't hang up on a frequency." The call ended. My signal bars vanished. The phone rebooted itself and displayed one notification. "New recording, SIG-5 final." We listened. No voices. Just the hum, layered 100 times, forming a rhythm that pulsed like blood. Then faintly beneath it, my own whisper. "If you hear this, I made it outside." I hadn't recorded that. Not yet. That night, power grids collapsed block by block. The sky glowed the same dull red as the tunnel's breath. Every electronic in town started humming the same note. TVs, lamps, even unplugged ones. The air vibrated with invisible current. Dana and I met at the broadcast tower again. The console flickered between off-air and live feed. "Maybe we can cut transmission from here," she said. I shook my head. "If we shut it down, we go with it." "What do you mean?" "The town only exists because it's still broadcasting." She stared. "You think the sound's holding us alive?" "I think the moment we lose signal, we'll vanish like the others." Outside, the fog pulsed like lungs. The tower lights blinked in sync with my heartbeat. My recorder beeped, auto-arming, no input. "Record enabled. Source, Noah." Dana whispered, "You're the transmitter." "I know," I said. "I just don't know what I'm sending." We heard footsteps then, slow, deliberate, behind us. But when we turned, there was no one. Just the echo of our own breathing played back through the speakers, delayed, then reversed. "Don't leave me unfinished," the echo said. By dawn, every frequency between 18 and 83 hertz was gone from the spectrogram. Just a flat line. Dead air again, except for one faint pulse every 20 seconds. Dana left me a note before disappearing. If you stop hearing it, don't trust silence. Now I sit in front of the console, watching the meters twitch. Noah Reeves, former journalist, part-time echo. The signal's still here. And sometimes in the hum, I hear the town talking back. We're still recording. The hum came back the next night, softer but closer, like someone whispering through the air instead of in it. I'd stopped trying to sleep. The tower's control panel glowed steady red, live feed, no timestamp, no source. Every few minutes, a faint pulse slid across the spectrum analyzer, too clean to be noise. It wasn't random. It was a message. 3 tones again. 19, 41, 83 hertz. Only this time there was a fourth. A new one lower. 13 hertz, the same frequency the human brain makes when dreaming. I recorded it, reversed it, slowed it down. Hidden under the bass line was my own voice. You were here before. Don't erase us again. I shut the program and checked the file history. The metadata said CREATED, 3:14 and 27 seconds. The same timestamp from the first tape. But the date was from next week. I grabbed my recorder, stepped outside, and let the cold hit me like static. The town was still looping itself, same cars, same fog, same motionless sky. Only one thing changed. Sound carried wrong. Echoes came before the source, like the world had inverted its own physics. Every 20 seconds, a pulse rolled through the valley. The streetlights flickered with it. Each pulse brought a whisper, half a word, maybe a name. Noah, please. Come back. Start again. The voices overlapped, hundreds of them, layered in delay, all mine. Versions of me bleeding through time. At the sheriff's office, Dana's desk was empty. Her badge lay under the lamp, still warm. On her monitor, a waveform pulsed in time with the hum. Across the screen, text crawled in white. Return tone accepted, phase restore in progress. The building vibrated like a tuning fork. Files flew off shelves. The air thickened into rhythm. I backed out, but the hallway had changed, doors repeating like a mirrored maze. At every turn, another me stepped out a fraction late, mimicking my movements but not quite in sync. We tried to leave, one said. You didn't listen, said another. Stop recording, whispered the third. It resets everything. Their faces flickered between recognition and decay. I dropped the recorder. It didn't fall, it hung midair, humming. The display flashed. Recording, infinite. A sound wave burst outward, pure and clean. The town lights died. And then I saw it, the horizon folding, curving in on itself, the world spooling backward like tape in rewind. The diner reassembled. The mill unburned. Even the sky unlit itself. Every reset brought another hum, deeper each time, like the earth itself was trying to remember the right frequency. And through it all, a voice, calm and mechanical. Phase restore at 73%. Retain host consciousness. I screamed for Dana, for anyone. The echoes screamed back in unison. When the light returned, I was standing in my trailer again, but everything was reversed, mirrored left to right. My scar had moved to the other side of my face. The clock read 3:14 and 27 seconds. On the table, my recorder blinked once and displayed a single new file. The sound beneath one mic, author. Noah Reeves. I pressed play, my voice older, slower, resigned. This is where it loops. Every time I shut the signal off, it rewrites the town. Every version of me makes the same mistake, thinking silence is escape. It isn't. Silence is the reset key. Static rose, swallowing the words. Then another whisper, quieter, closer. If you're hearing this, the loop's already started. Do something different this time. The recording ended. I looked outside. The fog was moving against the wind. Streetlights blinked in Morse, stay transmitting. I turned back toward the console. The red light still said live feed. Except now, beneath it, a new line had appeared, source. You stabilized. I reached for the switch. My hand trembled, and from somewhere deep in the circuitry my own voice whispered, "If you stop now, they all vanish." It's 3:14 again. It's always 3:14. The clock doesn't tick, it hums. The air inside the tower cabin feels electric, thick enough to touch. Every light glows red, steady and pulsing like a living artery. Outside, fog curls against the glass, pressed there by something invisible. I haven't slept. I don't think I can anymore. The tower isn't a building now, it's a lung. It breathes when I do. Every exhale feeds the console a little more power. I tried stepping away once and the lights dimmed like I was starving it. Somewhere deep inside the static, Dana's voice still lingers. If you stop hearing it, don't trust silence. I used to think silence was safety. Now I know it's the moment before deletion. The town's map on the office wall has changed again. No roads, no borders. Just a pulsing dot, the tower, with lines radiating outward like veins. It's feeding energy into the valley, keeping it alive. Or holding it hostage. Maybe both. Every time I blink, I see overlays of different versions of Chester Vale. One where the mill still burns. One where the snow never melts. One where I'm not here at all. All looping, all waiting for something to end the repetition. I thought the signal was just data. It isn't. It's architecture. It's rebuilding reality every time I hit record. I tried shutting it down. The console rebooted itself. I smashed the transmitter. It rebuilt, wire by wire, humming like it forgave me. The signal wants continuation, not obedience. So I do what I've always done when truth corners me, I document. The waveform on the main monitor twists and sharpens again. 3 tones, the heartbeat of the valley. Then a fourth, lower, softer, 13 hertz. The same frequency human brains produce in deep REM, the dreaming frequency. I run the filter, slow it down. Beneath the hum, someone speaks. You can end the loop, but you must be heard. The voice sounds like me, older, tired, maybe from another version. That's when I understand it. The signal isn't meant to destroy, it's meant to contain. Each loop exists because we keep it trapped here. If I release it, let it broadcast beyond the valley, it might lose focus. The infection could dissolve into the noise of the world. If I keep it here, it keeps us repeating. If I let it go, maybe we die, maybe we live. Or maybe we finally stop being copies. I climb the tower. Each metal rung vibrates with sound, faint, low, constant. The fog outside glows red-blue, bending light like heat. The closer I get to the top, the thinner the air becomes. Not cold, just empty, like the world is running out of molecules to breathe. Halfway up, I hear footsteps climbing behind me. When I look down, no one's there. Only echoes of boots delayed half a second. Then a voice. Keep broadcasting, Noah, Dana's voice. Or a memory pretending to be her. At the top platform, wind tears at my coat. The town spreads below, silent, dark, but not dead. Every rooftop reflects faint light, each one pulsing to the same rhythm as the tower's beacon. From up here, it looks like a heartbeat spread across miles. I set the portable transmitter down and plug in the recorder. The console flickers. Link established, select frequency. I scroll past the usual ranges. I select all bands. Warning. MULTI-band feed will destabilize source. I press confirm. The hum swells, too deep to hear, too heavy to stand near. The entire tower trembles. For a second, I feel every copy of myself across every reset. All the Noahs who have stood here before, who have failed to end it, who chose silence instead of release. Hundreds of versions layered on top of me, whispering through their teeth, "Keep it running, let us out." Lightning flashes inside the fog, red, not white. The sound transforms into pressure, bending the air, warping gravity. The rails twist. My skin feels electric. Every transmitter across the valley, phones, radios, power lines ignites. The fog burns white, then turns transparent. For the first time in months, I see sky, real sky, the kind with stars, imperfect and unprogrammed. I scream into the wind, "Do you hear me? Do you hear any of us?" The tower answers, a roar pure and clean. The broadcast tears through the valley, past the mountains, beyond anything the instruments can measure. Every tone, every echo, every piece of sound we ever recorded explodes outward into the world. Then all at once, the hum stops. The silence that follows isn't empty. It's alive. It feels like standing inside someone else's heartbeat. And then nothing. I wake at the base of the tower. My clothes are burned at the edges. The fog is gone. The air smells like rain and metal. The town is still there, only now it looks unfinished, as if the world forgot to texture it completely. The streets shimmer, faintly transparent. On the ground, I find Dana's badge, clean, polished, as if she just set it down. Her name still etched deep. Inside the office, the map is back to normal. Roads connect again. The world remembers its own shape. On the desk, my recorder blinks. New file, 3:14 and 27 seconds. I press play. If you're hearing this, we made it out. But the signal's looking for new ground. Keep it moving. Don't let it settle. And if you ever hear the hum again, don't record it. Static fades, replaced by breathing mine. Except I'm not breathing. Outside, dawn spills over the ridge, pale and trembling. The neon sign at the diner flickers back on. Open 24 hours. Cars are parked wrong, dusty, but they're real. For a moment, the town feels like it remembers how to exist. Then I hear it faint under everything. A low pulse, softer than a whisper. Not in the air this time, inside my chest. I look at the tower. Its beacon flashes once. Red, slow, then again, heartbeat. I start walking toward the highway. My recorder's screen fades to black, but I can still feel it vibrating in my pocket, one tiny frequency still alive. By the time I reach the valley's edge, the fog is back. Thin, almost shy. It hums like a familiar tune you can't place. I keep walking anyway. Behind me, the tower breathes once more, a pulse rolling out across the mountains. Somewhere, miles away, in a city that doesn't know Chester Vale ever existed, a car radio catches a flicker of that tone. The driver frowns, taps the dial. "Must be interference," he says. His wife nods. They drive on. But in the static between channels, a voice murmurs, faint, distant, a ghost of broadcast. This is Noah Reeves signing off. And the hum continues, stretching farther each time, into towns, into homes, into the thin places where silence once lived. Because silence never meant peace. It meant reset. And the world finally had started listening.